Alright, so here is hopefully a how to cheat with a calculator video. Those of you who just can't even. Of course, there'll be like 5 of you that watch it. The rest of you just complain how hard it is. Alright, so I'll have to do some of these on the fly because I lost my copy of it. But certain questions are multiple choice and certain ones aren't. The first one happens to be multiple choice. And it's a multiple select kind of deal. So I'm just going to go ahead and do some quick factoring. Again, this is how to cheat with the calculator, but you have to have choices, right? So there's 3 different ways to factor that polynomial. The easiest thing you can do is make up a number that's not 0 or 1. Don't ever use zeros and ones. And then just push buttons in a calculator. Like I'm going to take a 3 and I'm going to store it to x. So if I type in the original polynomial, 9x squared minus 36, I get 45. Well, since it's about the word equivalency, which I hope you understand what that means, my choices should generate a 45. They should. So there's the first one, 45, no surprise. And the storage feature makes this a lot easier. Of course, some of y'all don't do anything in class besides doodle. It's what you do. I don't know why you wasted my time or your time, but there you go. Those 3 were equivalent because they have numerical equivalency. Honestly, you shouldn't miss number 2. I'm going to go ahead and factor it real quick because it's not that hard. So that would be the answer choice, okay? If you miss this of the TI-84 in front of you, you dumb. I don't know what else to tell you. So it's 12 cubed plus 6 cubed, which TI-84 can do, is 1944. And then you just go through the answer choices and you see which one generates 1944. Oops, didn't need that parentheses. And notice I'm just typing it in like it looks like on a piece of paper. 1944. Wow. Number 3 be the same as the way I did number 1. It's a multiple select type question. At least it's supposed to be. There's one of the choices. I haven't woke up yet today. There's another choice. And there's another choice. And again, just make up a number, any number, just as long as you don't use 0 and 1. Don't ever use 0 and 1. Like this time I'll take a -3 and store it to x. And I'll just type in the original polynomial. I got -432. And what I'll do is I'll check for what we call numerical equivalency. That was 1. For those of you who know what you're doing, it's a good way to check your work. Oh, that's supposed to be a cube, isn't it? Oops. That was 8 times an x cubed. See? Caught myself. Made a mistake. And again, I'm just checking for what's called numerical equivalency. Numerical equivalency is amazing for anything when you talk about equivalency. Just plug in numbers. You can do the same on number 4. Check for numerical equivalency. And I showed number 5 in the original video how to use a calculator. The 6 is not a multiple choice system. There's nothing I can do with these for 6, 7, 8. 9 was taught by looking at a graph. Nothing there. You can actually cheat a little bit on this one right here. I'm going to write down the answer. That way I have something to check in and I'll show you what I mean. That should be the answer, okay? There's the answer. So if it's multiple choice, you can still kind of do the same thing you've been doing. And I'm just going to make up another number, like, I don't know, root 2, and store it to x. And then I'm going to type in the original expression here. You were supposed to FOIL these out, but it's x minus 4i times x plus 5i. And I got this crazy looking thing, 22 plus 1.4142 blah, 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 I. So I look at the answer choices and I say, well, type those answer choices in. And there she is. That's numerical equivalency. 16 is a straight up calculator problem, did it in the first video. 17 I did primarily by hand. So we'll do it in the calculator here. So here's your equation. And it says, or look at graph, okay? So a lot of kids are going to look at the graph instead of doing it by hand. So y equals, I don't know why I'm in y2. And then zoom 6 it, just like I teach you in class. Now you can kind of see it's going up, up, up. And you're just going to have to play with your window here. This thing goes ridiculously high in the sky. You know, you might try 1,000. Obviously, you still need to go up. And you need to be looking to the right, too. So back to window. Might look right, I don't know, 100 units. Still probably going to have to look right because you haven't seen a thing crash down. But now you know you got to look up more. I'm going to change that to 10,000. Okay, you've probably seen it max out. And now you need to look right. Let's do 250 on X max. And it's just making things up and guessing. There's your vertex. So second trace 4 for a maximum, which is something we've done. It wants a left boundary, get left, press enter. It wants a right boundary, get right, press enter, and then enter for a guess. And there she is. The x value is 112, but the height, which is what I'm after, because it says how high, is 5,080.5 foot. Almost a mile. I talked about why it was like this in the original problem, because this apparently is not the planet Earth. That'd be a negative 16 if it was. All right, over what interval of time will this plague-ridden carcass be above 200 feet? I go to Y2 and I put a 200 in. Then I hit the graph key because my window's already perfect. And I'm actually going to have to, you can kind of see it drew it down there at the bottom. It's red on yours if you're playing along. I'm actually going to have to scale back to about 6,000. So I can actually see that red line. There she is. Kind of hard to see, but she's right down there at the bottom. Second trace 5 for intersect. And I'm going to get this left time first, so I get my cursor close, and once my cursor's close, I press enter 3 times. And the first time is about 2.04 seconds. Now I'm going to go after the second time. And I'm just going to get my little cursor over here, so I'm holding that right button down. And once you get closer to the second intersection of the first, you can press enter 3 times. Enter, enter, enter. So I got 222.96. And so when we talk about the interval of time, the time is stuck between 2.04 and 222.96. That's written out as an inequality. as an interval, 2.04, 222.96. The reason I use parentheses is because there was no equality. It talks about being above. And the twin, by the way, is way harder than the actual test. It really is. You set your trebuchet up to hit a certain target 80 foot in the air. So we replace the height right there with 80 because 80 is a height. I've already put this into Y1. So this is going to have to go into Y2. And you should see on a color edition, and I know it's hard to see on this video, but there's a red line showed up in the bottom. I know it's really hard to see. This little camera just doesn't give you the contrast to see that, but there is a red line showed up in the bottom. You're not going to be interested in this intersection right here. You're going to be interested in this intersection over here. So second trace 5 for intersect. I'm going after the left intersection. Once I get close, enter, enter, enter. There you go, 224.31 seconds. All right. I can't help you with the bonus there. 4. 18 is not a calculator problem. 19 and 20 aren't calculator problems either. So there's your calculator hints. Do hope that helps you a little bit. I'll get you a couple of them. And a couple is better than none.